Yo, welcome back to the channel. My name is Looeasy, and in today's podcast, we're just going to be talking a little about what has been going on since Logan Paul did his first box break, what's the market like, and everything that's changed since then. You're going to get a little bit of the numbers, not too much, but you kind of get my opinion and my perspective on how things have changed since then and where they're going, where they are currently at. So, hope you guys like this. And if you feel obliged, please hit the subscribe button and even check out the podcast. You can find it anywhere that a podcast can be found. It is now being called Looeasy Collects. Right? It used to be called Pokemon Cards and Coffee, but I decided to change it to Looeasy Collects. So if you look that up, you should be able to find it. So hope you guys enjoy. Yo, welcome back. It's Looeasy, and we're just gonna get right into it. It's been a while, but in today's episode, we're gonna be talking about the downward spiral of interest in Pokemon right now. I think we're starting to see a lot of viewership numbers go down, and we'll talk about the numbers and what they mean, and as far as what to do about it, as far as if you have money in Pokemon. So we're gonna get into that today. But before I get started into it, what you're gonna see in the future for me is not only are we rebranding and we are renaming this podcast. It's going to be called Looeasy Collects. So it's not going to be Pokemon Cards and Coffee anymore. It's just going to be Looeasy Collects. And that's just because I do more than Pokemon as far as collecting. I do comics, I do sealed games, and I forgot what the other one was. I'm off the top of my head. It's comics, games, cards, and I do skateboard decks as well, the limited series stuff. So I collect all kinds of stuff. So I kind of want to branch out into other collectibles as well. Oh, figures as well, action figures as well. So you'll see more of that in this podcast. So I kind of wanted to branch out and just give this a new name. So Looeasy Collects. It should mainly focus on Pokemon for the most part because that is my specialty. But I will branch out and kind of give you guys the insights on what I've purchased, what I've discovered, and that will be the future of this podcast. And they are going to be a lot shorter, so it makes it easier for me to sort of edit and post out to YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all those things. And by the way, if you're listening, first off, thank you for listening. I know I don't have a whole lot of followers, but for those of you who have followed and listened, I appreciate you very much. If you would like to listen to me even more or help support this channel and see it grow more, please check out my YouTube. It should be Looeasy. All my socials are Looeasy. It's LOO_EASY. My YouTube channel, definitely check out and subscribe to that. Twitch as well. I'm going to be doing a lot more content. That's going to be a little more broad, but we're still going to be talking about Pokemon and collectibles. My TikTok, I kind of do the same exact thing. Twitter, I'm pretty active on. I always kind of give my thoughts on, as I think it. I kind of just post it. And Instagram as well. I do a lot of photos there as well. So definitely check those out. It's all free, mind you. You can donate as well. That will definitely help speed up the process. But I have a goal on trying to make this whole full-time content creation thing. So I have the numbers in my head. I have goals set in mind, so I'm definitely looking forward to progressing all of my channels and sort of synchronizing it all so that way it's a lot more fluid. So that's kind of been the answer to my my absence, is I just haven't been able to figure out how to sort of connect it all. But other than that, if you guys would like to, please help support out those channels. Again, it's free. Hit a like, subscribe, review these podcasts as well. Share them with your friends if they're interested. If you find any value in this at all, share it with a friend, Gonna get into it right away. The numbers for Pokemon in general, whether you Google search it or for people who make content, I've noticed that the numbers and trends have gone down. I kind of noticed it with Twitch. A lot of big breakers have been seeing their numbers go down. I decided to sort of cross-reference that with YouTube numbers, and their numbers are also down. And the search engine for Pokemon has also gone down as well. So if you type in Pokemon or Pokemon cards, you'll see that we're going to get into this a lot, is once the whole COVID lockdown happened, you saw a small spike upwards in the trend for all things, viewership in YouTube videos, Twitch streams, and just Google searches, and just general interest in Pokemon was starting to go up because people were indoors. Once the stimulus checks went out, we started seeing more people starting to spend. And then, obviously, as it's kind of hard to not mention this, but once Logan Paul did his break, that spiked up the interest even more. And almost like that was the highest that we had gotten interest in, was after he did the box break. People started getting interest, and you saw a huge spike in numbers, in viewership, subscriptions, and all those things. That was kind of right around when my viewership started to max out, and it held off around that whole, height that carried over into the new year, and we started seeing sets come out like Champion's Path, and then shortly after it was Vivid Voltage, and then Shining Legends, and then afterwards, that's when the numbers started to die down. I think there's a mix reasons that happened. I believe a lot of it had to do with when you have a lot of people come into a hobby, you know everybody wants to buy a few. It's not just one; people are buying a lot, and so it made gaining access to all the products harder, which meant there was less in stores, along with people who saw money in this. So you got scalpers, flippers, people who just go to, you know, they scout when people are dropping product off. I'm sure you've heard of all the issues with vendors dropping off stuff and being stalked, followed, and then there was a gun being drawn out at one apparently, and it was just chaotic. It was real hard, and people basically camped out the day before. The vendors would drop stuff to just get anything to make a quick buck. You saw a lot of people, a lot of big Twitch streamers start to do box breaks as well as soon as Logan Paul did it for the numbers. A lot of people started getting into it, and then what you also saw was people sending stuff even more to PSA. And then, as a lot of you probably know, PSA suspended their grading services. I believe that was in April or May is when they stopped, and then right around the corner is when they'll open up around July. This is the tail end of June. It was hard to send stuff out, and then that was right when it was hot, or the tail end of it being hot. And I want to mention this as well. After Shining Legends, there was no more Charizards. That was the last set of Charizards. So we had that perfect window of when people had the most interest, is when we had at least 2 or 3 Charizards come out, and everybody just wanted a Charizard because that's what Logan Paul pulled. Logan Paul pulled, I believe, 2 Charizards out of that box break, and then later on he did a second box break. I believe that was in April, on the anniversary of Pokemon. Also pulled the Charizard there too. So that was that big huge spike, and then that level, and then after, I believe it was right before Battle Styles came out, when we started to see that dip coming down. And I think even with Chilling Reign, you're starting to see that dip in interest. It's still hard. I've been to a few of my local spots. It's still hard to find product. I believe that is also because, I haven't mentioned this yet, bots, scalpers with bots who are also buying out online retail. That is also making it difficult to buy stuff. And then you have everyone and their mother, charging 2 or 3 times the price. I'm still a huge fan of Darkness Ablaze, not just because of a Charizard. I like that set in general. I have a personal vendetta with Darkness Ablaze because that is one of the few cards I have not pulled, was that Charizard VMAX. So I still have a personal vendetta. I still need to pull one. But with Darkness Ablaze ETBs, last year in September, an ETB went for about $40. ETB went for MSRP $40. Now you see them being scalped at $150, which is huge. It's over $100 difference, and it hasn't even been a whole year yet. And that's specifically for that set and other sets like it, like Sword and Shield, those are just out of print. So that doesn't mean they're discontinued. That just means that you can't find them because Pokemon is currently not printing them. And I'm pretty sure that is because they're just trying to push out all of the modern sets that are still being pushed out, like Battle Styles and Chilling Reign right now. So I'm sure all their printers are focusing on the new sets that are coming out. And then as we start to open up for out of quarantine, which is happening right now, I believe you're going to start seeing some of those older sets starting to come in with the reprints that you've been hearing about with Hidden Fates as well. That should be out of rotation soon. So I believe my guess is another year, maybe two, you'll see Hidden Fates being printed and then potentially stop. So with Darkness Ablaze and Sword and Shield sets, those prices are being scalped right now just because it's really hard to find them, especially in sealed and booster boxes. So sets like that, I would say stay away from if I'm giving out information on that right now, just because they're not being printed right now. It doesn't mean that they're never going to be printed again. It just means that they're not being printed now. So, let me see what else I have written in my notes. Another big thing is with Battle Styles, and we're seeing it with Chilling Reign right now, is their print quality is bad because possibly they either have new printing stations going off and they're possibly just rushing the way these things are going out. You're seeing cards fresh out of packs that are, they have print lines, they've got indents. I haven't opened up Chilling Reign myself because I haven't found it, but Battle Styles also had that issue on the sides. I have a few cards here. This one's actually pretty good, but others where you could see there was some whitening right off the bat, and it was just a weird print run. As far as quality, it's not their best. So you're starting to see that, and with two sets back to back, it leaves questions as far as what's the future going to be like if they're just rushing product out. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing right now is a lot of it isn't just top quality, whereas like I want to say Shining Legends was pretty good as far as quality, and the set was really fun. I didn't think Shining Legends was going to be as good of a set as it was. It's tough for me to say, but I gotta say it puts Hidden Fates, it gives Hidden Fates a good fight. I think Hidden Fates is still a favorite, especially with older fans. I think Hidden Fates is still going to be the better set between the two. But Shining Legends is really, really cool and fun if you like the new Pokemon that are out. So, I don't know. If you see Shining Legends, I would say definitely pick it up if you can for an affordable price. But that's kind of leading towards the end of this, where I'm saying if you are going to buy anything, if you're trying to save money, I would say save money for the sets that are coming out later in the fall. Something like the anniversary set, where we're already seeing things about, they're doing a reprint of classics within this anniversary set. I believe the Shadowless Charizard is supposedly coming back, along with some other base set Pokemon and others from throughout the 25 years of Pokemon. And that's actually kind of cool. I like the way they look. So if you're interested in that, definitely save up for that. Another set to look out for is the Eevee Friends. I don't believe that the American version has a name yet. I could be, I just don't remember it off the top of my head. But that Evolutions set should be another hot one if you are interested. I would say save for those if you are. And another thing you can do right now in the downward trend is anything like if you have a collection and you have these top tier cards that you don't want to ever get rid of, or you want to hold on for a long time because you feel like they're going to have a high value return later on, definitely sell off your lower end stuff, because I have a feeling with prices dropping, they're going to keep continuing to drop, especially as PSA submissions open up in like a few weeks here. I have a feeling some of that stuff is just going to get outshined by a lot of new stuff that people are going to be throwing in. I've already gotten at least 25 cards ready to go. So I would highly suggest selling off your lower tier stuff that you aren't attached to right away. So that way you get to save up for whatever you want later on. But if you are interested in buying anything right now, like Chilling Reign or Battle Styles, only buy it if it's MSRP. That is my suggestion. Don't go out chasing stuff that has it for double the price. I think it's over. I think a lot of stuff is overvalued as far as modern. I think a lot of it will be dropping within the next year or two. As we start opening up, I believe people are focusing less on, hobbies you can do indoors, or at least collection hobbies. I think are going to take a hit within the next year. That is just a speculation. I don't have any numbers. Do with do with that as you will. But I feel like collectibles are going to take a downward hit as we're coming out of um, quarantine. I believe maybe you might see a small spike um, if we have to shut down during the winter. I have an idea that might happen, but we're not really sure. Apparently, there's another variant of COVID that is starting to spread. So it just depends on the future of the quarantine, pandemic, and COVID. So I would say definitely hold off on spending if that is a worry. I feel like a lot of people overspent on Pokemon within the last couple of months, just from what I've been hearing and what I've been seeing. And I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to be selling off their stuff later on in the year, as we start going back to normal spending habits. As viewership also normalizes, I believe spending habits are also going to be normalized. So that means that people aren't going to be investing or buying into Pokemon, which means that if you're holding on to something, expecting it to go up more even further, I would suggest selling now if you're worried that price is going to drop even more. Sell now. That way you get a return. Save it for whatever you want or for whatever you have plans for. But that's where I'm at. I have a few things that I'm trying to sell off right now. But I am holding on to some high tier stuff long term. So definitely understand your own goals and your game plan. Hold long term those high end top tier stuff. If you don't have any, definitely sell off what you can. And then as the numbers start to drop, maybe you can get that top tier stuff. That's another idea you can do as well. Um, you know, as the lower tier stuff drops, the top tier cards that you're probably looking for are also probably going to drop a bit. So maybe those become more affordable for you, which is why I say sell what you can now, save up, and then potentially, save to buy something bigger later on. So I believe that's going to be it for today. So I'm going to start doing some of these short ones. I have another one lined up. I just need to edit this and then send it out there. So like I said, once again, thank you for so far. Thank you for listening throughout all of this. I really, really appreciate you guys. I'm going to just say, if you can, leave a review on this podcast, share it with your friends if they're interested in any type of collectibles. I'm going to be talking about, like I said, action figures, comics, sealed games that are graded, action figures that I'm looking towards. Definitely send this out to them. Tweet at me, Instagram, DM me. I really appreciate when you guys do that. I've had a few of you do it already, and that's super cool. I appreciate it. I'll get it back to you as soon as I can. Ask me any questions you guys want to hear on the podcast. Definitely check out the YouTube channel, subscribe, like, and Twitch as well. I'm starting to come back to Twitch as well. It's gonna be twice a week. So if you got questions, I can potentially answer them there. TikTok as well. Definitely check me out on that. So with all that, thank you and happy hunting.